I really like braised dishes, first of all. I think it's a true testament to skill set as a chef.
Okay, good.
It
Yeah,
requires a
I agree
lot
with
of
that.
technique. But what I find is that, you know, the meat, even though it's full of really great marbling, it's got lots of connective tissue, it's kind of a tough cut of meat, so we're going to braise it.
So we have that bone
Right,
right
we've got the
there.
marrow bone right there.
Right.
Yep.
And this is the shank.
Correct. So that's the leg of the, in this case it's veal, it's
Yep.
leg of a cow.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so you've got your marinade on there. Now what did you use?
So our marinade, we kind of developed this over time. We use lots of fresh herbs. We use oregano, we use rosemary, we use a little fresh parsley, some thyme.
Okay.
And then we also add to that some white anchovy, we add some lemon, we add a little bit of mustard, a little bit of sherry vinegar, and some olive oil.
And that's why you are such a great chef, because you take chances.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, really, a good chef seasons well.
For sure.
For sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so important, is to really season.
And you know what happens is when you braise meat, you lose a lot of the salt that you put onto
That's true.
to the item. So you have to really, I'm not saying over season,
Yeah.
but you need to aggressively season
yes.
this.
Yeah.
Food needs to, the flavor of food needs to be enhanced with salt. You
Yeah.
can do the same thing with lemon juice or something acidic,
True.
but you can't just magically wish for it to taste good. You have
Yeah.
to actually help it along a little bit.
And this has got a lot of collagen in it.
Lots of collagen.
This is going to just be such a wonderful mouthfeel. The texture of this is just, it falls apart. It's just,
Right.
it's delicious.
And if we do it right, it's exactly what will happen. It'll
Yeah.
literally, you could eat this without a
Right,
knife.
without a knife, exactly.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting this in the pan. I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil.
Okay, good. So now, you know, if you were in Milan, if you were visiting Milan, this is the dish you absolutely have to have, because this is a classic
Yep.
in Milan. You go to the restaurant and you ask for osso bucco, which is usually served with a risotto, right?
Correct.
So now
what we're gonna do.
Yeah. So while that's browning, we're going to go have an espresso.
Now that we've let these sit, we're going to flip, and you can see that
Wow.
they have got magnificent
They are
kind of
great.
golden brown color,
Yeah.
almost dark brown color.
Yeah.
I'm going to remove these from the pan.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the next step in our process.
Okay.
We've got nice color on both the top and the bottom. They look
Yeah,
really good.
Really beautiful. And one of those is a serving.
Correct,
One, yeah.
correct. So we're going to put
Okay.
these to the side.
Yeah, now we're going to add the our aromatics,
And then
right?
we've got that nice fond in the
Right,
pan. The
yeah.
fond is something that's really important. That's all that flavor
All
that's
that
still in the pan.
crustiness that's
So
in
we're going
there.
to take our onions and our celery,
Yeah.
our onions and our tomato and our garlic.
Yep.
We're going to drop that in, and
You
then we're
left the garlic whole too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, it'll
It
cook
really
down.
obliterates if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't.
Okay.
Then I'm going to take I've got some oregano, I've got some rosemary, I've got some thyme. We're just going to
Okay.
kind of give that a little twist.
Okay.
Kind of break that up, and
Yeah.
we're going to drop that in, and it's going to crack, sizzle, and pop.
Uh-huh.
All right, and then we're going to add in a little
Mama.
bit of fresh juniper.
Juniper berries.
Yep,
Okay.
those are delicious.
Okay.
We're going to add in some black peppercorns,
Yeah. It's smelling very good right now.
and then we're going to also add in a few bay leaves.
Okay, and you always leave those whole.
Correct.
Never want to chop
Yeah.
those up because they're very dry, and you know you could get that stuck in your throat.
We're going to strain this anyway, but
Yeah,
there's just
yeah.
no reason to
Yeah.
do that. They're pretty intensely flavored anyway, so we're going to let that go just for a little bit.
Okay, so what about 3 or 4 minutes? to
Yeah, you
get
can
them
start to see
soft?
that some of
Yeah.
those onions are starting to color a little
Yeah.
bit. Just-
Okay.
We want to develop a little bit of flavor.
caramelization there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we're going to add some tomato paste.
Okay, now why do you add the paste?
So the paste adds acidity, and it's going to add color to our dish
Yeah.
as well.
Ooh,
So we're going to let
okay.
that tomato paste kind of get a little bit of color. We're going to let it
Yeah.
grab some of that vegetable,
Yeah.
making a nice little paste here of herbs and aromatics, garlic, spices. And then, once we have all that mixed together, we're going to take our red wine,
Yes.
and we're going to drop that right in, and that's going to work its magic. So again, more color, more flavor, more acid. We're going to let this reduce by about 2/3.
Okay.
So this looks good. This is reduced down by about, oh gosh, I don't know, at least half, 2/3.
Yeah, you can tell because there's the line where it was
Yep, and
originally.
you can
yeah.
see in the pan too, when we
Look at
clear it
how-
off, all that fond is
Yeah.
now in that sauce.
It's so rich looking.
Yeah.
It really is.
So the idea is to just keep putting more and more layers of flavor
Yeah.
into this dish.
So now we can put the meat back, right?
Correct.
Okay,
So I'm going to
so-
grab the meat,
Okay.
and
How long do you think this is going to take to cook?
These
About
are
an hour and a half, would you say?
a little bit longer than that. I'd say
Longer?
probably 2.5 realistically.
okay.
So if we cook them at the proper temp, they should probably
Are you cooking them at 325?
350-ish is usually
Okay.
kind of where I go.
Uh-huh.
But again, low and slow is
Yeah.
kind of the way to go with these.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
all right, so we kind of place our osso bucco in there. Any of the
All the
drippings that
juices
come
going,
off, we're going
yeah.
to pour that in.
Good. Okay.
And then, now that these are kind of nicely nestled into that kind of bed of goodness, we're going to add our stock. And our stock that we have is hot.
Yes.
Okay? We're going into an oven. We're trying to cook these. So
This
there's
is beef stock.
Correct.
Okay.
This is brown veal stock.
Okay.
So there is absolutely no point in putting cold stock into a hot pan.
All right.
No point.
Right.
All right, so we want this to be filled up so they're about halfway up. I've got a
Yeah.
little bit more stock here that I'm going to add to it, just to kind of get us up to the level we want to be at. And while we don't necessarily want to boil these, because we really don't, we want to bring it to a boil
Yeah, but
before we
then-
put them into the
yeah,
oven.
Yeah.
All right, so we're there.
We're there. So.
All right, and I'm going to put these in the oven. And being that we're a commercial kitchen, we don't always have a tight-fitting lid. So
Right,
we're going
but
to
that's
improvise with
okay.
a little sheet pan, but
Yeah.
it'll still do the trick.
Yeah.
So these go into the oven.